Good morning to you. It has been a wet morning across San Diego County, and as you see at this video here, not too long ago, this was taken from Hollister Street. This is right by the border there. Less than an hour ago, you see the sun shining, but that's a lot of water right on Hollister near Monument Road. This is where the Tijuana River Valley runs through. A lot of times we see that sewage water flowing across Hollister. People are being asked to obviously not drive when you see flooded roadways like that.
Yeah, parts of Southern California under a state of emergency right now as this storm has already caused quite a few problems across the state, and a flash flood warning is currently in effect for the city of San Diego. So glad you're with us here at 8 a.m. I'm Eric Conrad.
And I'm Netta Irampour. Yeah, thank you for joining us. We have team coverage for you to help you deal with the wet weather that we've been seeing. CBS 8's Alex Lai in North County. That's where the rain caused multiple roads to close. That could impact people's commute. CBS 8's Regina Urita is in South Crest, where many residents there fear more flooding could be on the way.
First, let's start with meteorologist Evan Ronnie tracking this atmospheric river here. Evan.
Yeah, still coming down as we speak. It looks like the majority of that heavier stuff is centered up around the Orange County area. Mission Viejo, for example, starting to see some of those stronger cells move on shore. We're getting a little bit of a break. The last couple hours have shown that things are mostly dry out there, but not going to last for too long. You can see those showers that are stacked offshore that are going to be slowly moving in our direction, and that's just off to the west of us. Now, as we head through the next several hours, we're going to see that chance of wet weather climb, opportunity for some embedded thunderstorms in that, and then we'll start to see those temperatures stay mostly in the 50s, warming up into the weekend and early next week as we start to see those showers come to a halt. But for today through Thursday, we've still got a lot of on-off activity that's going to persist. We even now have a flood advisory. It looks like that actually has just expired, but we still have a flood watch across the county and a flood warning for the San Diego River. Winter weather advisory with a good amount of snow off toward the mountains. So the storm not over yet, but what we have left is going to be on the lighter end. Still, though, an opportunity there for some of those thunderstorms throughout the rest of the day here. So we do want to let you know of a traffic alert for people in the North County area. The rain has prompted 2 closures on 2 very busy freeways this morning. CBS 8's Alex Lai is live in Carlsbad along the eastbound 78. Alex, a driving range also flooded near there, right?
That's right, Evan. The driving range at the Carlsbad Golf Center right behind me. Take a look. This is completely flooded. That is all water. You can see the rain right now is just adding to that flooding. There are some flags just peeking through, barely coming out of the water, and we've seen wood and some plants floating here as well. And now this flooding here in North County has also closed 2 major roads this morning that could impact your morning commute. So if you are about to head out the door, make sure to check and see if these are in your morning commute. One of the closures is on the State Route 78 and El Camino Real on-ramp. This is video that we shot this morning driving by. As you can see, it is closed and blocked off right now. Now, this is an area that has been closed before. Nearly a year ago, a storm caused a sinkhole on State Route 78 that closed part of the freeway down for days. And the other major road closure this morning is the northbound 5 and Palomar Airport Road on-ramp. This on-ramp is prone to flooding, so commuters have likely seen this before. Both closures this morning are from flooding. California Highway Patrol says they don't know how long they will be closed. And CHP is now reporting a sinkhole in the center lane of the 78 west of College. So back out here live, you can see that this flooding has actually been here all morning. I don't think it's going to be going away anytime soon, especially as we are expecting more rain. So if any of these routes are on your morning commute, make sure to plan ahead, leave early if you can. Also create an alternate route so you can get to work or school or wherever you may be going this morning. And of course, make sure to drive safe, as these conditions are not necessarily, safe to be driving in right now. I'll pass it back to you in the studio.
Ooh, and we know the 78 can get flooded, and that sinkhole, to hear that by College. Alex, thank you for the update. Fears of more damage from flooding still high this morning. This is especially true for people living in southeastern San Diego.
CBS 8's Regina Urita is in South Crest, an area still dealing with the devastating effects from a storm 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, good morning, and I can tell you that rain has officially subsided here in this area, but earlier this morning we were getting a pretty solid, steady rainfall. But here's the thing, all eyes are on this flood channel right behind me. This is the one that city crews cleaned up about a week ago after the last flood happened 2 weeks ago, but neighbors are concerned that it can clog up again and flood their home.
It's really important that affected community members go to one of the assistance centers like the Mountain View Assistance Center that will reopen after the rains.
And so that is Andrea Guerrero, the executive director of Alliance San Diego. She's been helping residents who are still dealing with the aftermath of the January rainstorm that happened 2 weeks ago. Many say they're still waiting for the city's help, especially because they've been dealing with contamination issues. And now, as we're in the middle of another rainstorm, they're concerned that they could be dealing with another round of flash floods. Now, we did reach out to the city about recent efforts. They say that they've been conducting outreach, cleaning flood channels, providing hotel vouchers, housing assistance, emergency food needs. They also have city crews on the ground in the affected areas. But CBS 8 specifically asked about the concerns of residents. A spokesperson tells us since the January 22nd storm, city staff and the community emergency response teams have done daily canvassing in affected areas. So back out here, as the day progresses, we could still notice some rainfall, and you could see that the streets are still wet. They're slick. So if you're driving down this area, you definitely don't want to be speeding here. That's the latest here in the South Crest neighborhood. I'll send things back to you guys.
Regina, thank you for that. New this morning, the U.S. Border Patrol agents saying that a person who was trying to cross the border illegally has died. It happened near the San Ysidro port of entry in the Tijuana riverbed just after 1 this morning. Agents say there was a group of migrants crossing the river, and one of them fell into the knee-deep water. Lifeguards were called in. They later found a man floating face down. No one else was hurt here. Agents detained all of the migrants.
Now, the storm that we're dealing with, it hit LA hard, causing some major mudslides. I mean, look at all of this. In Beverly Crest, the mud flow knocked this home completely off its foundation. So that's what you see right there. Yeah, that house, that roof, not supposed to be there. The house slid off its foundation, then collided with the neighbor's house, causing even more damage. And then let's take it to Baldwin Vista, where mud overflowed into the back of a family's home. That's in someone's house, forcing that family to have to get out. You can see a huge pile of mud, trees, debris filling their backyard. And then those living in Studio City experienced much of the same after a mudslide ripped through a neighborhood there. They say the slide brought large boulders down with it, which then crashed into homes, knocking out, looks like, fences, bricks, debris all over the place. So far, 9 homes have been evacuated there.
Take a look at this here. Heavy winds blowing through Sacramento, knocking this big rig over. Look at there. Just tips over on its side there. Powerful gusts. This is on the 5. That truck completely tipped over, ended up partially blocking the interstate. No word on injuries. CHP says they got multiple calls about wind impacting vehicles last night. Remember, you can keep up with the latest weather conditions and alerts on the go by downloading the free CBS 8 app from Google Play or the Apple App Store. You can show us the weather and any damage where you live, if it's safe to do so. Share photos and videos on the CBS 8 app under the Near Me section. Click Share with Us.
Yeah, it's incredible to see the mudslides. I mean, the ground's unstable.
Yeah.
So just a reminder, you know, for people along cliffs, things like that, that could really crumble.
Yeah, and out on the roads, we're dealing with the slick, ponding and pooling out there, but then also those winds. We saw that semi-truck,
Right.
So there's a lot going on out there.
Yeah, rain, wind, some snow off toward the mountaintops that we're going to at least
In
start
our
to see.
mountains?
Our
Whoa,
mountains, Mount
okay.
Laguna, Palomar Mountain. By the end of the storm, could be looking at a foot of snow coming down. That's going to be a generous amount. The foot, I'd say we're going to be closer to 6 to 8 inches or so. Looking at a live look outside, this is what we see along our coastline. Palm fronds blowing around just a little bit, at least the taller ones up there. We have seen wind gusts pretty decent along the coast, but mostly more accelerated across the mountains and deserts. We have seen a little bit of a lull in activity. You notice how for most of our reporter live shots and our cameras out there, it's dark and gray and stormy out there, but we're not seeing a lot of that rain come down as we speak. Satellite radar is showing that. We have this little bit of a break here across our county, but look at how much is just stacked offshore that's going to keep moving onshore. In total so far, we've seen 1 inch to 2 inches in most cases. Some lighter accumulations off toward the southeast corner of San Diego and the heaviest toward the northwest corner. 2.77 inches in Oceanside, 2.8 in Fallbrook. Rain chances are going to start to decline by Wednesday and Thursday just a smidge. That's going to be more on-off activity, but today is the day of likely the heaviest stuff. And then Wednesday, Thursday, that chance drops down. By Friday, drops even more. And then Saturday, we are back to mostly dry conditions that will last through the weekend and into the middle of next week. Let's time out the next wave of wet weather. Here's 9:30 a.m., just about an hour and a half from now. Still a good amount that is arriving on shore, keeps moving east from there. We get these kind of little embedded breaks, but don't let your guard down too much. We've got some thunderstorms in the afternoon forecast that will also translate to some snow off toward the mountains. We do get a couple bursts of energy that will come through mainly in the overnight hours. So that's mainly going to be late tonight into early tomorrow. Here's 2 a.m. North County. Snow up toward the mountaintops. And then again, from Wednesday into Thursday, we'll see that next kind of wave of energy push on shore. So here's 10 a.m. on Wednesday. Tomorrow, things are looking okay, just some scattered activity, and then more overnight in that Wednesday to Thursday stretch. So how much additional rainfall are we expecting? Well, between now and the end of the day, we're looking at about ½ an inch, in some cases closer to a full inch of additional rain. By the time we get through the day on Wednesday and then into Thursday, we'll likely be right around that inch marker, in some cases closer to 1.5 inches, depending on how far east you go or how far south you go as well. When we look at the next 8 days, I mean, today through Thursday is going to be the bulk of activity. Things start to lessen in intensity beyond that. Friday is going to be a big question mark as to whether or not we'll actually pick up on that measurable precipitation, but it does seem like Friday morning at least. Inland, maybe closer to the mountains, we'll pick up on some of that. A lot of people are asking whether or not we'll see any of it linger into the weekend. There's an opportunity, still that 15% or so chance for wet weather on Saturday. I'd say if you're making weekend plans, expect it to be dry, but Saturday, could we see a few sprinkles? Yes, not likely though. Going into the beginning of next week, we're back to completely dry skies. Temperatures attempting to recover, but still on the cooler side of average all the way through next week, and that's going to mean countywide a jacket can still come in handy, despite the fact that you might not need the hood attached to it. Mountains are going to see that snow mainly for tomorrow, Wednesday, into Thursday. Thursday again into Friday. Across the mountains and deserts, they'll also experience a pretty dry upcoming weekend and dry stretch into the beginning of next week. For the deserts, today could be their final day of that wet weather along with the cooler temperatures, and then they'll start to see temperatures climb by the weekend into next week, but otherwise dry skies moving forward. Let's take a look at what's going on as far as traffic goes. It's 8:12 so far. We've been letting you know about a couple crashes that have popped up. Also have kind of clued you in on what happened on the 78 earlier. There are some pretty decent backups in both directions of the 78. Want to show you what that looks like right now, where we have stop and go traffic in either direction from San Marcos. If you're going from Escondido to Oceanside or vice versa, it looks like both the west and eastbound lanes are impacted in that area. So there's a lot going on. Good idea to reroute as you head out for the morning commute out there. Ned, Eric, back to you.